Actually, yeah, because there's not really point because I can feel the AC coming in. There we go. Will it sound better? I don't know. My finger doesn't connect to this. Uh, uh, yeah, I'm seeing if I can connect my AirPods. They don't always connect. Can yep. Sorry. No, it's.
If not, it's all right, bro. Don't even worry
Can
about
you
it.
hear me? Okay though.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. It's not connecting.
It's
Okay.
all right.
Good. 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 Good.
Don't even worry about it.
Bet. Okay. Let's rock it then.
All right, let's rock and roll. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Undergo with Jayskode. We got a freaking motherfucking badass guest today. Um, he goes by the name of Cartier. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How are you? I'm excited to be here, bro.
Cartier, man. He's a beast. I met him. I was on the phone with him the other day. He's a chairman 50, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and just overall, man, a fucking badass. So
Appreciate you, bro.
to start, man, I want to thank you, for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know how important your day is. So I appreciate it very, very, very much, and the audience appreciates it as well. Thank you.
Of course, bro. Of course.
So I want to go all the way back, man, and ask you, man, like, how were you raised? Your childhood? I want to talk about a little bit of football. We could touch on that. Um, where are you from?
So I'm originally born in North Dakota, which is crazy. A little small town called East Grand Forks, or I'm sorry, Grand Forks, North Dakota. And then I grew up in Minnesota, or I'm sorry, I stayed in Minnesota until I was like 6 or 7 years old, and then I moved to Cali. So it's kind of crazy because I don't look like somebody that'd be from North Dakota. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
bro.
Yeah,
Nah,
that's
you look.
crazy. But yeah, man, I moved to California. I'd say when I was 6 or 7 years old. My mom ended up marrying somebody that was in the military, and then I ended up going to from elementary school all the way to high school out there in California.
Oh shit. So what? Do you remember what high school?
Yeah, it was. It's called Cabrillo High School. It was 805 area out there in Lompoc,
Hey, shout out 805. That's basically the whole audience is
Vandenberg Air
805,
Force
bro.
Base.
Sheesh.
Do you know what
Uh,
Vandenberg Air Force Base is?
yeah, I know where it's at.
That's where I was. So I was staying on the Air Force Base for a while, and then I was at Cabrillo or whatnot. But yeah, that's where I didn't get to graduate, but we might be able to get into that later.
All right, let's get into it. High school. How was that for you? Football. I know football was a very important thing for you at that time. Touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, man. So I ended up going to high school, or I'm sorry, I ended up playing football when I was like I would say probably 14 or something like that. My friends were all playing. I thought I was going to be good because I was fast and I sucked. And so I literally quit 3 years in a row, bro. And then I ended up getting somewhat all of a sudden. Summer came one time. We were playing flag football or two-hand touch football, and I started understanding it more. And then I went to a camp out in Dallas, Texas, a football camp called Jay Novacek, and I really started understanding the mentality of football players, etc. And then I ended up tearing it up in little league, and then that was when I was like, okay, I'm good at this. And then the next year I was tearing it up. Went to high school, and then freshman year in high school they moved me to varsity, and yeah, I thought I was gonna go to the NFL the whole time. That was always my goal in life was to go to the NFL.
Wow. So since little leagues, you told yourself you were going to the NFL.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Really
Damn,
thought I was gonna get there, but
that's crazy,
yeah, it's
bro.
crazy how life works, right?
Yeah, man. I did a little bit of research on you, and I seen the come up. Like just from social media, YouTube. I seen you're open about what the struggles you went through. From Was that around the time where you kind of entered, um, I don't want to say depression, but was that like a tough time for you?
So, are you referring to when I moved in probably to Dallas, or so I ended up at high school. I ended up going to prison when I was 18, so I didn't graduate high school,
Right.
and then I went in there for a couple years. Was in jail for a while fighting my case, and I went to prison. And when I went to prison, I wasn't necessarily like scared or anything like that. When I went to prison, I would say I was also like I was kind of like more ready. Or I think that when you're at that age or the mentality in the town I grew up in, that it wasn't. I can't think of the word, but it just wasn't something that you take as, you're just like, oh yeah, I'm in this camp. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how you take it. And it didn't really hit me until later on in there. And at some point, I got a book called The Secret. My mom sent me The Secret in prison.
Good book,
And
by the way.
I'm sorry.
That's a good book.
Oh, dude, changed my life, 100%, man. She sent it to me. She kept saying, "You have to read this book." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And long story short, I wasn't supposed to get it because it was a hard copy book, and they weren't allowed to have hard copies in prison because you could turn it into a shank.
No
So
way.
I was waiting, and then the guard told me I couldn't get it. And then one day, bro, all of a sudden, this guard just shoves this thing under my door, and the cover was ripped off. I never asked him to. It was just 3 months later, all of a sudden, he sent it under there, and I had nothing to do because I was in the level 4 yard, and in the level 4 yard is 24-hour shoot program, so 24-hour day lockdown, etc. And so I had nothing to do. So when I got the book, I couldn't wait to read something, and I read it. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna, when I get out of here, I'm gonna get rich. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go to NFL is what I was thinking still. And but I was like, I know I'm gonna be rich when I get out of here. So that was kind of what pivoted my life while I was still in prison.
So the secret, for those who don't know, it's a manifestation sort of book. Seeing the vision clear and planning that shit out. So how long, you said you were in prison for 2 years?
Yeah, almost three, pretty closer to three. I got out I went in when I was 18. I got out right before I turned 21.
Okay, so you're 21. You're fresh out of prison. What's your next step?
Man, so the first thing I did was I wanted to change my environment. So I moved to Dallas. That's when I moved from California to Dallas, Texas. And I was like, okay, I still think I'm gonna do this football thing. My dad lived out in Dallas. That's why I was moving out there. And I ended up finally like getting a job, as a busboy. It took me maybe like 8 months to a year to finally get a job, but I got a job as a busboy and a dishwasher. I was wearing one of them hats and stuff, you know what I mean? And I ended up taking a lot of that money and that I was making. I was actually investing it into training for football at that time.
Okay.
And then I was trying out for colleges, and then I ended up finding out they weren't going to let me go to college. You know what I mean? So I
Because
was paying all this money to train, and they didn't let me go. So long story short, I ended up taking a different route, thinking I'm still trying to get to the NFL, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do arena football. So I tried out for the arena football team, and then I made the team on that.
wow, that's
Yeah.
insane. So you're still at that mentality, like I want to go to the NFL. So at what point
Yeah.
was it like I can't go to the NFL? Was it I can't, or was it they won't let me, or what was the issue there?
Man, so I was training. I made the NFL, or I mean, I made the tryouts for the Arena Football League. I did really well, and then I ended up having this run back, this kick return, and I was running it back. And long story short, I did very well. And then there's all of a sudden NFL scouts were out there. So when the NFL scouts were out there, they ended up having me do like a tryout while I was out there, like in the Reno League, and for the Cowboys. And long story short, I didn't make the team. And obviously, like a lot of people don't and they come back and they keep trying. I feel like at that point, it wasn't even that. It was like still like maybe even like the next year after that, like a year later, I just woke up one day and I was just like, I don't want to play football no more. It was the weirdest thing, man. And just all that passion. It wasn't like a resentment. I love it till this day, but you know what I mean? But I was just like, I just don't want to play no more. And randomly one day I just woke up like, I don't want to play.
And the people around you, how did they feel about that? Like your family, close friends? What were they?
My dad, I think, was like supportive. I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
No, my dad was like supportive of it. And he was like, but at the same time, I was living with him for a while. So he was kind of like, I ended up going all the way to like 24 years old, you know what I mean? And I'm still busting tables and whatnot. And I was just trying to figure life out. But I think that he was more wanting me to grow in life. And I'm sure he was like, he was being supportive, but I don't know if he knew believed I was going to make it or not. But he was always like, he had that mentality of like, you got to have a backup plan, real job, backup plan. So I think that when I quit, I don't think that he really like cared, to be honest. And then that's when all of a sudden I started looking into like different avenues for making money. You know what I mean?
And what sort of revenues was that? Was that, real estate? Was that trading, or was that something? What were you considering at that time?
At first I was like, I knew I had to go be an entrepreneur. So I was still trying to see if I could find jobs in corporate America. And I was like Googling things on like what jobs felons could have. And then I was even Googling like, how much is $80,000 a year? And I was like doing the math on how much that is monthly and weekly. You know what I mean? I was just remember doing that all night. I was up just running numbers and seeing like, I've always been fascinated by money and fortune, but not like that. But I just wanted to have money. But long story short, man, I ended up, Wolf of Wall Street came out, and
the movie, right?
The movie, yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, the movie came out. And when that came out, that changed how I look for everything. And that's when I started looking at stocks. So I started up looking for stocks, and I actually saved money. Before that, I was saving a whole bunch of money from busting tables because I knew at some point I was not going to get a job for corporate America. So I was like, finally it hit me. I'm like, you got to be an entrepreneur. So I was saving up thousands and thousands of dollars, and I was like, okay, what am I gonna like? I'm saving it up for. That's where I guess the law of attraction comes into play, because I was saving it up for something, but I didn't know what. I just knew that I needed to save money and I needed to create my own business. And long story short, that's when I ended up taking that money and investing it into stock education.
Okay, how much money did you have at that time? Saved up.
I mean, it seemed like a lot to me at the time, which I guess might still be a lot, but I think I saved all the way up to 15,000, and then wow. I spent all of it on stocks, stock course.
Now look, at that time you said you're 24, 25, yep. Maybe. Yeah. Look, when you're at that age, most people, man, they're out partying, they're out spending money, buying cars, doing stupid shit. What really, like, was it just at the mindset you had where like, okay, I gotta figure this out? Why weren't you one of those, out there partying, going to college parties, buying that new car? Why weren't you one of them? What really stood out for you? What separated you from the rest?
I think for sure I had a mentality, obviously, but I think it all starts like with the vision, if that makes sense. And then the vision makes you want to have that mentality. And I think that for me, man, I was like, I just had a vision of it wasn't money, it was having time freedom. And I just always understood the power of time freedom and So point is I was just looking at watching YouTube videos and stuff, and I was it wasn't even to the point of being disciplined, if this makes sense. I wasn't trying to be disciplined and not go out more than I was more getting I was having more fun learning. The same fun that people were having going out, I was having that fun by sitting inside and learning. And I don't think it was like, let me pick one or the other. I just truly enjoyed, I truly just knew and had a vision. And I was just so fascinated by one day I'm going to be this guy on YouTube. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. So talk about the work ethic. What were you really studying? What were you looking at? Who were you looking at? Um, Talk about it. Talk about those sleepless nights.
Man, I started off, after I paid money, I was doing my research obviously for a while. I found a guy named Tim Sykes. And then, yeah, his name was Tim Sykes. It's Sykes. You know, I was studying him for a while, and he was more like kind of a guru. Nothing bad to say about him. I just was studying him, and I spent money with him. Then I ended up finding another guy named Kunal Desai, who I still follow on Instagram. He's so supportive of me until this day. And I would say that's the guy who really changed a lot for me. But, you know, I ended up putting money down for a lot of money down for his course as well. And then, yeah, after I got involved in the study and everything, dude, I was literally up nonstop until, you know, all of a sudden the sun was coming up, you know what I mean? And for me, it was like a video game. You know, you see people playing video games all night?
Yep.
Like, that's what it was for me. It wasn't, because I think it could also sound so heroic, you know, that lack of a better word, but to this guy, or, you know, maybe motivational, like he's such a hard worker, which I was, but it was because I was also addicted to what I was doing.
Right. And obviously everybody, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, and a lot of the Cali team wants to know, you know, like what is it that really kept you going? Because a lot of people, when they start a business, they don't see results. They don't, at least they don't see the results that they want to see. They don't, you know, they don't see the success. They don't see the vision. And most people, they fail,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sadly. But, you know, what really kept you going, and what's the mindset of what's the key mindset of, you know, being successful, getting to where, you know, you want to reach your goals?
I think you know, so it's crazy because so many people, you know, we talk about the why, which is so important, right?
Right.
You know, your why helps you, and, you know, you're doing it for everyone else. At the same time, one thing I don't think people talk about enough is still, again, that it comes down to the vision of it, because you will only work to your level of belief. Like, if you were going to walk outside and if you had to go to Walmart today, and, you know, right when we got this call or this podcast, and you were like, well, I truly believe if I were to go to Walmart, I'm going to die. Like, for no matter, like, you're not going to leave the house. You're going to be like, I don't believe I'm going to make it there. So in order for, because no matter what, when you walk out your house, or even being in, every day is a risk in life. So no matter what, if you walk out, you're, you know, everyone takes it for granted. They assume that they're going to get to Walmart. So you only work to your level of belief. If you didn't believe you're going to get to go to Walmart, you would never leave your house. So my point is that when it comes to a vision, your vision needs to be so strong that because you won't quit if you truly believe that you'll get there, right? It's when you don't believe that you'll get to the vision, or you don't believe, or that vision isn't strong enough, that all of a sudden all those things in front of you, they start slowing you down. But I just truly believed that one day I was going to be able to be rich, and one day I was going to be successful, and one day I was going to be inspiring people. And I'm going to be honest, like, I felt like I always knew, but I also felt like it would never happen all at the same time. But and it's really weird because I think everybody feels that way, but I just refused to quit. It was just, the last thing I would say on it would be, I really just kept saying, "What if?" That's about. I just think, what if, and something bad would happen, and I was just, "What if?" But just what if I go a little bit further? And then it's like, you didn't come this far to come this far. Keep going, and then it's like, dude, you went 4 years in entrepreneurship. You haven't made any money, and at this point, it's like you just got to keep going. And and at that point, it's like you might as well just die trying. For me, I'd rather get to 70 and not make it than and die than quit. It's just it.
Now, for the audience listening, I think another good word to put in there is what Cash had in the beginning was, and a lot of people that I follow, like, Junior, a lot of social media influencers that are, business entrepreneurs. These guys, all of them, they commit. That's the word. They committed, and they didn't have a plan B. If their plan B, whatever, if they had a plan B was either something that was going to benefit plan A, they committed to what they wanted to do. They had the vision and they stick to it. So I believe you were one of those that committed from the jump, and you just didn't
Oh
quit.
yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, all in.
All in, baby.
All in, baby.
I got a question from Miguel. Well, he actually asked me a few questions he wanted to ask you was, and for those who don't know Miguel, he's the leader out here in Cali 805. Shout out Miguel, bro. I know you're listening. Thank you for the support. He says, why do you like helping others?
Ooh, that gave me chills. I don't know why. That's such a crazy. I just love I just love watching people grow and watching people win and watching the process of them growing and them achieve their happiness. It's just something that's so amazing about that. And I love it, man. I just love the watching the process and helping people get to where they want to go. And it's crazy because there's never like an end result on helping someone. You know what I mean? I feel like it's never like you mentor someone this far and you're done, or at least in my experience, it's never been like that. So it's just this, you're constantly growing with them as you're learning to mentor people as well. And so just helping people around the world and in maybe not mentorship, but financially and other things like that. It's just knowing that you're able to help someone and provide a relief, and knowing that I used to be in that spot, I think has a lot to do with it. And remembering, I wish that somebody was doing this for me when I was there. And I think that really like sits on my shoulders on a day-to-day basis, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the perfect answer, man. And there's not a lot of leaders like yourself. I struggle to find mentors like you, like Drake, like Junior, Miguel. Man, I struggle for years trying to find somebody that could, somebody like just to have the environment in general. Like I was looking for this environment for a long time, and I'm so glad. I thank God I found you guys.
Yeah, man.
It's a dope ass environment.
I appreciate you, bro.
I want to go back. I want to take a step back to when you started stocks. What exactly were you doing at that time?
I was day trading them. I was day trading stocks, which is, you need lots of money to do it. You know what I mean? And there's just so many reasons as to why I would never have do that again. Knowing what I know now, I mean, don't go into day trading stocks.
Name a few. Name a few. Why?
So day trading is yeah. Day trading is like, so because you're in and out so quick. So it wasn't like I was holding on to anything. I was just, I remember what was it? I remember I'm trying to think of a stock. That's crazy. They're probably enormous now, but like I remember trading stocks like Netflix. I remember like Facebook, but they weren't enormous stocks back then when I was trading. Like now, back then, I don't know what their shares were, but they were low enough to where I could buy some and it would make a move, and I'd still make a little bit of money, and I'd sell it within a couple, hours or minutes. You know what I mean? But
Okay.
now I don't know what they're at because I don't do stocks that much no more. But yeah, it's just not a good way to go for day trading.
So at that time, how long were you doing that for? How long?
2 years, but 2 years.
2 years. And were you making any money, or was it just you were just losing?
Losing a lot. Then I finally ended up kind of like understanding it more. And then when I started getting, I would still say I was still in the negative, but when I was starting to start getting a lot, let's just say I hypothetically went negative 20,000. I don't know what the number was, but hypothetically I went negative 20,000, which back then again for me was a lot of money, which maybe it still is for a lot of people. I don't know, but um, if it went negative 20,000 and all of a sudden I might have gained, started like went from that and started gaining up to maybe 10,000. Now I'm only down 10,000 after all these years, hypothetically. Um, I started gaining on it, and then all of a sudden I got introduced into Forex, and that's when I was like, oh, when I switched up. You know what I mean?
Okay. Were you introduced from an ad? This Forex? Are you talking about IM or just Forex in general?
It was IM, so it's crazy because what ended up happening is I always understood the power of residual income. Like I don't know why. And if you guys don't know what residual income, it means you're doing something once and you get paid forever for, everyone on here. But I knew the power of that. And since I knew the power of that, I was like, I knew that I needed to get a residual income, and that way I could put it into my trading account. And so I didn't, I figured out it was going to be money from business, etc. And then all of a sudden, somebody came to me with network marketing, and this was a different company. It had nothing to do with any like investing or nothing like that. It was like selling, lotions and potions and stuff. But long story short, though, I said yes to that because I was like, this will give me more time freedom. I can cut back at work at my job, blah, 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 and I could go focus more on trading. So I ended up getting started with that company, with network marketing company. And then when I was in that company, some other people were in IM at the time, and IM was a tiny company, had nothing, nowhere near the success this company had. And it was like these young kids, whatever. They're, imagine, some 18-year-olds, and again, I was like 24 maybe at the time, but all of a sudden they're coming up to you, saying, "Yo, we got this company," and blah 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 blah. And the company looks like it's like a little hole in the wall, pretty much. And then you're in a company that there's multiple 7-figure earners. They're driving Lamborghinis ready, and then and I am at the time there was nothing. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Long story short, they were doing that, and I ended up saying I thought it was a scam, so I pretty much ended up getting involved because my friends were like, "Yo, they just like check this out, so let us know like if this is real." And I was never afraid to invest in anything, so I was like, you know what, like I'm still not making good money, I'm still busting tables, but it's like it's only $325 or whatever. So long story short, man, I just invested it to see, and then
You're hooked.
I just fell in love with it more and more and more.
So please,
Obviously.
please go ahead and explain what I am and Forex trading, what the whole nine. Explain it to the audience.
So I'm gonna give a detail on Forex. So Forex is going to be going to be the exchange from one country's currency to another, and we make money off the fluctuations. If you look at the stock market, for example, it moves exactly like the stock market. There's going to be charts and all that, and it looks exactly the same. If you look at a stock market chart and a Forex chart, you wouldn't know the difference. They look the same. And so, same with the stock market, you buy low, sell high. Same thing. You do the same thing in Forex. More money to be made in Forex, though, just because you're dealing with the world's currencies. So way bigger industry, and you need a lot less capital to trade with when it comes to trading inside the foreign exchange. Stock market, you need tens of thousands of dollars, and in the forex market, you could start off with not, and you could start off in the hundreds and start compounding your account. So that's going to be that. Then you have the cryptocurrency markets, which like Bitcoin, Ethereum. That's a new big bang right now. Everyone should be on that. And Iron Master Academy essentially teaches you how to day trade and make money, make money from your phone, etc. Potentially make money from your phone. Results not typical, just kidding. Potentially make money from your phone, so I have to throw the disclaimer in there, right? But they educate you on how to potentially make money from your phone and learn how to trade the markets, you know what I mean, from your phone. And the power of that nowadays is insane, obviously, because I mean, you think about it, you have even celebrities nowadays. I mean, majority of celebrities are starting to get involved. So it's started from nothing, and now it's, if you're not trading at this point, you need to be, because there's a reason why the whole world is now trading money from their phone.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So man, you said you were introduced to IM when it first got, it was a hole in the wall, and you weren't convinced. Yeah. But you did it anyway. Do you remember what you started with? Was it Forex or what was it?
When I started, when I started IM, there was no education yet. They had something called the scanner. It was called the harmonic scanner, which we still have that. But it was a harmonic scanner. And it would scan the markets for you and essentially tell you when to potentially buy, when to potentially sell. And that was the only product they had. And of course, they're saying, products are going to be coming to more, we're going to be introducing more stuff. But I had to learn on YouTube. So the company was so new that they didn't even have courses out yet or anything. They just had that scanner. And I guess I seen the vision of where it could go at some point, and I was scared. I remember I knew enough to know that we were potentially putting ourselves in a situation where where it wasn't a well-known or strong company yet. We don't know, we didn't know if it was going to work. And long story short, obviously it ended up working out.
Hey, call it a leap of faith, man. That's for real.
Yeah, big one. It was a big one.
Okay, what year was it? Do you remember what year you started with IM?
Yes, it was 2015. It was when I got started.
2015. Yep. And what was the vision there? What was the motivation? So you committed at that time. You know what? I'm a commit to this. I'm a stick with it. What was the mindset?
I think the mindset was, I remember at the time, that was when my grandma that raised me went into a nursing home around that time. And so at that point, it went from wanting to be an entrepreneur. And I think that's when the why kicked in really strong, but it went from wanting to be an entrepreneur to, and having fun, to all of a sudden, like, okay, life is real. And, I know after even going out of prison, you know what I mean? It's still like different when, someone you love. And for her, for me, that was my world. But they were going to move her into a nursing home. And that was when I was like, no, I don't want, and that was her biggest fear, because she had dementia, and I did not want her to go into a nursing home. And so I was like, when I joined IM, and when that happened, I was like, no, you know what I mean? And I ended up saying, like, I'm going all in on this. I'm like, I'm not playing. And I was just working my ass off because I knew that maybe I would be able to make enough money to get her, to stop that from happening.
Yeah, man, that's tough. Is she still with us today?
No, she, I didn't get to stop I didn't get to help the nursing home situation. And, then I thought I was going to stop that. And then my next thing was like, okay, let me make enough money to get her out of the nursing home. and then get nurses and stuff. And so 2019, my grandma and my little sister run away to church, and they actually got killed in a car accident. And then on the way to church, so it was crazy. And then we went to go bury, or I'm sorry, we had that situation. Funerals happened, and then the day of the funeral, I got a call saying that my mom's about to die now, and that was from just a different side of the world now. And then so they all three ended up dying. She ended up dying inside the nursing home, and then literally 4 months later is when I had my breakthrough. So it's like I just missed it. I just missed it.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal.
Man, the amount of pressure I can just imagine, man. The amount of pressure you went through, the amount of you know, w- I'm sure you went through some sort of you know, depression and anxiety, whatever it was. Did you? How did you get through that? Like, was it just stick with I am, or was there like a little setback for you where you just like, you know what, I need time for myself? What was it?
It was, I think that no matter what in life, everything is fight or flight. And I think that's just no matter what, like you're just two decisions on it. And on, I think I've been through at that point, I've been through enough life at this point that I was already went through severe depression over things that were less than that and blah, 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 to the point where I learned a lot. It's almost like you might get into a fight when you're younger or something like that, and it might have been a hard fight or whatever, um, and you might have lost bad, and then all of a sudden you grow up and you become a better fighter, and it's a worse fight, but then you win, and I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how it was with this. So it's like I gained that experience from losing so much that when this happened, I knew how to deal with it. And I point is that one thing I learned was that when bad things are happening, to never sit still, and that was one thing I knew. And so when I was getting the news of them dying and stuff, or like so, I drove to the hospital, I kissed them goodbye, and I came back home and I got on a webinar, and then when I found out that my mom died, I just started cleaning my house, and I was just like, I'm not sitting still, and I was continuing to just make sure I continue to move. And when it came to business, I went even harder, and I was like, I'm gonna do this for them.
Man, I swear I'm still stuck on that. Like, I can't even imagine, man.
Yeah, it
Um,
was.
how I don't want to get this quote wrong, but I'm gonna try to get it off the top of my head. How important is this quote from the past? It goes something like, "This is when you were quitting football." She said, "No matter," I'm not gonna say the full thing, but she said, "No matter what, you're gonna be a star."
Yeah.
How important is that quote for you today?
So it's funny because so that song is from it's from a song called "Look What You've Done" by Drake, um, and yeah, it means that I play that when I'm going through it. I play that song a lot when I'm thinking about her. So yeah, it means the world for me because every single sentence in that whole post is true. It's just everything is true. It talks about like throwing the tossing me the keys and loan me your car. Like that's true. Grew up. Your house feel like the Hamptons. For all my summer romances, all that's true. Um, we went places, checks bounced, but they bounced back, but we bounced back. All that was true. So he says that I put all the money in your accounts back. That's what he said in the song. And for me, I said, I think I said, you put all the money in my accounts back, because I drained my account so much. And my grandma that raised me, my mom, she'd always just find a way to make sure that and it would help me get back on my feet many times. So that quote means the world to me.
Okay. Now I see some. I know something else means the world to you too. Let's touch on a little lighter subject. Your dog. How important is your dog to you?
Man, he's important. He's over here scratching at the door right now, being annoying. He's my world, though, man. I make a lot of life decisions around him. I'm still currently doing one now, even living situations and stuff. Always with me, always by my side, and he's so important that I feed like a lot of people. I feed him before I feed myself. And I do that. It might sound weird, but like out of respect. Because when my family was dying and all that was going on, you're a man and stuff. You're trying to be strong in front of everyone. At night, you know what I mean. Like I was just holding on to him. So he means the world to me. It really does. Like, and then on top of that, that dog. If you were to touch me, not you, I'm just saying, if anyone were to touch me wrong, man, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? So
Damn.
yeah, it's a wrap.
Okay, wow, that's crazy. That's what's up. It's a man's best friend, man. I remember I used to have a dog as well, but
Yep.
yeah, I want another dog right now, but not with my little son right now. My son's a handful.
You have one?
Yeah, just one.
You have one dog?
No, I don't have any dog.
Damn,
right
a
now.
dog and a son?
No.
Oh, I thought you said you had a dog. You're like, oh man, a dog and a son.
No, I just have a son. My girl's already telling me,
Okay.
babe, she's like, babe, I want a dog for G, and I want him to grow up with the dog. I'm like, I know, me too, but it's a handful right now.
I can't imagine, bro. Chris is pissing me off right now.
I'm telling you, man. Man, so let's go ahead and talk about I Am. I want to talk about I Am. Where are you right now with I Am? Like, what's the vision? What's the goal? What's the milestones that you have today? Like where do you see this in 5-10 years type shit?
And yeah, I would say so. Currently, I'm at Chairman 50. Can't say how much that is or anything. I'm not allowed to, but I'm doing pretty well. Trading accounts, cryptocurrency accounts are doing well. I mean, they had a nice pullback, but doing well. Organization of, I think, to be specific, probably like 7,000 worldwide. Yeah, I guess I'm definitely one of the top leaders in the company, which is crazy to me still. It really is still crazy. But the future, the future is more so less about what I like for me, and it's just so much about like I just can't wait. I just see so many success stories, so many lives changed, so many of my friends being past where I'm at right now. We're in an office where we own the floor, which I would have thought would have been, 2 years ago, I would have thought that would have just been ridiculously hard to do. And now it's like, owning buildings I feel like it's very realistic. The lifestyle, unfortunately I have to watch what I say, but the lifestyle I just feel like is gonna, 10x. And, I think just sky's the limit, man. I mean, just gonna be honest. You could just, I start talking about and think about it, I have to watch what I say too, but I just truly know what it is that we have, and I don't care what anyone else ever has to say about it, because I know that if you're rocking with us, man, like that, it's just like we can't be stopped. We can't be stopped.
Can't.
You know the vibes.
You say you've touched a lot of people. You're a keynote speaker. What's one of the events or keynotes that really stood out to you the most, and what did you learn from it? Because I know you've done quite a few.
By far was March Madness for me, which was back obviously this March, because that was so out of all the during this whole come up, I've seen all these people walk the stage, and I've seen all this other stuff, and I've seen people speaking, and I finally ended up having my breakthrough, and I was I'm really keep to myself, like, that's the thing about me, is I've never been someone that goes out there and not really, you know what I mean, and so I think I would slip under radars a lot. So it's kind of like when I started kind of coming up, it was kind of like, oh, okay, this guy's doing well. He's pretty good. And I started to kind of come up more and more. But point is though, is I wasn't speaking. They didn't have me I never spoke, and so they're having everyone else speak, and I was never speaking. And I was patient. I didn't feel any type of way about it. But point is my first time ever speaking after being a top leader for a while now was actually in March Madness, where people that were not so that have not done as good as me yet were speaking, and I don't mean that like that. I don't think I mean any negativity towards my mentors or anything like towards nothing like that. I think the timing is necessary, and for everything. But my point is though is it was crazy because that was my first time speaking, was just a couple months ago, and in front of I think it was 6,000 people or something like that. So it was.
Wow.
Definitely, and that was the first time. My vision was always I got to be. I'm going to do a tribute for my family, and that ended up being that for me. I
Wow.
feel like wrapping it up. I feel like I know I do very well teaching people how to do our company and building, etc. And I'm also very well known for my situation with my family, and I want to go to events more so to give value, but I needed that event just to do one time for me to essentially say I can put this, I can close this chapter now, if that makes sense, and that's what that meant for me.
Man, that's big right there. That's
Yeah.
big. I want to touch on a couple more topics and a few questions. Uh, what's one advice that you can give to a brand new person coming in, into trading, obviously, and entrepreneurship? What's one good advice that you can give them?
And one good advice for trading and entrepreneurship. Honestly, it would it would honestly be just be patient, and I mean, work hard, but be patient and understand that life is truly your mentor, and when it comes to entrepreneurship, and that's I think is the best advice, because we don't get to go to, you don't have a textbook and stuff like that necessarily for entrepreneurship. A lot of it's trial and error through life. So I would just say, a lot of people think that failing is the people think that failing is when something doesn't go your way. Entrepreneurship, we believe everything's going our way, and that failure is just a learning, an experience, and that you have to be patient through those failures. Not saying to move slower, it's more so understanding the process, I would say, and trust the process.
Trust the process. Okay.
That's what I'd say. Trust the process.
Trust the process. I like that. Trust the process. I'm gonna write that down. Hey, you're not even just helping the audience, man. You're helping me out, don't you? You
I
don't even know.
appreciate it, man. I'm learning as well. Trust me.
So, we don't have to get into it, but I want to talk about philanthropies. Like, aside from trading, like, what are you into aside from trading? Like, you got a life. I mean, I know I am. The trading is a huge part of your life, but aside from that, what are you into?
Like, what do I like to do for fun?
For
Is
fun,
that what you're asking me?
investments, whatever.
So honestly, man,
I know you're a simple guy.
I am still. I know it sounds crazy, but so when you're grinding your ass off to get up off the ground and like get your business off the ground, you don't get to have a lot of fun. And you know, point long wrapping up, like just cutting to the chase on what I'm trying to say is that I truly believe I'm still in my infancy. So I don't, I still haven't went out to go experience much since I've been making the amount of money I've been making and stuff. And I still believe I'm getting I believe I'm still in the beginning still. And, so yeah, I'm just still addicted to this. Like this is my fun still, to be honest. I know that's like the craziest answer, but like I don't have any hobbies or any other passions right now. I just don't.
Wow. Okay. You're
I love it, man.
you're balls deep in this shit, man. And I love
Oh
it.
yeah, balls deep, baby, all the way in.
Man. Well, listen, Cash Cartier, man, you've overcome adversity. You're the man. You're an inspiration to a lot of people coming up, dude. Keep killing it, man. You're killing the industry. You're killing the competition. Keep moving, dude. Like, you have no idea. Like from a bird's eye view, man. You're killing it. You're killing
Thank
me.
you so much.
um, anything that you want to say before we enter the audience, any values that you want to share, something that you learned recently, something, just anything that you'd like to share to the audience.
First of all, I want to just say thank you for having me on here, man. This was fun. You know what I mean? Anything like this gives me experience and growth. You know what I mean? So I just want to say I appreciate you a lot. I appreciate everybody that hops on here to support you, supporting me as well. You know what I mean? Anyone that listens to this. And, the only advice I could really give is, you know, there's a lot of distractions in life, and I would just say, I don't know the quote by heart, but there's this quote that says, "Take up one thought, or take up one idea, make that idea, make that idea your one thought, and let everything you do come all down to this idea, and live and breathe that idea, and just leave everything else alone." And my point is that there's a lot of distractions and a lot of little other pleasures out there. And there's a lot of other great business ideas out there and stuff that you can get involved in this, and that. And if you're someone that's going to come into entrepreneurship, I'd recommend you just take up one idea and just leave every other idea alone. Have fun, trust the process. And understand life is happening for you, never to you. And we're here for a short time. That's it. You know what I mean? I love this stuff. I love it.
And we'll end right there. Mr. Cash Cartier, thank you so much, man. Thank you for tuning in to Undergo with Jayskode. This is Juan, Carlos, and Cash Cartier. Thank you again, brother. Thank
Of course,
you.
boss. I appreciate you, man. Have a good one, bro.
We'll talk soon.
Yep.